Hey, what's up, everybody? Sekou Calhoun here, actor, activist, father, poet, minister, lover of all things positive, here at Jigga Set Radio, ready to bring the noise.
What you see now on the internet? Nah, I was listening to Jigga Set. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me all in the know on Jigga Set Radio. What you see now on the internet? Nah, I was listening to Jigga Set. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me all in the know on Jigga Set Radio.
Welcome to Jigga Set Radio, guys. We're back here in the studio, and I got a special guest for you guys. I want to introduce Sekou. Y'all make some noise for Sekou, you know.
Thank you very much.
So, you're on the show here. I'm so glad you're here. All of our guests that we've had so far have been people that didn't know what JSR was, and then I was like, y'all, it's just a conversation, so we just gonna have a conversation today.
Let's do it.
My big thing, though, is I found out a random fact about you that I'm going to bring to light here. He's a Capricorn, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Like, he is a Capricorn.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, okay. The executive team is always going to hate, and the rest of the haters in the world are always going to hate as well. But there was a phrase you had said something about a cap. You want to tell the world what that is?
Absolutely. In order to spell the word Capricorn, it has to have a CAP in it, right? You know why there's a CAP in it?
Why?
Because it ain't no lie. Capricorns rule. We start the year and we finish the year.
Yes.
No cap. We are the best. I don't care what anybody says. Everything else, you know, we let y'all live.
Yes.
You know, we let y'all live.
Shout out to the Sagittarius.
Yeah, all them Aquariuses and all that.
Well, because you know they the bench warmers for us.
That's
They,
right.
they warm the seat
That's
for
right.
us.
Oh,
And, you know,
yeah.
I love them. You know, but it's our when it's our time, it's our time.
That's right. And that's why we're quiet about it. So we let y'all shine because we're humble.
Yes.
So we humble, all of that. All right.
That sounds very unhumble.
Unhumble? Nah. Just to admit who we
We're just
are.
confident.
Yeah.
So
I believe Obama is a Capricorn too.
Obama's a Capricorn.
I believe he is.
Shout out to Obama being a Capricorn. We're gonna verify that. We're gonna fact check that. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him.
All the great men were Capricorn.
So
Martin,
yes.
Malcolm.
Wait, Martin was a Capricorn?
I don't know, but I don't know, but all the great men was Capricorn. You feel me?
So the trending thing about JSR is the executive team always tells all the guests that come on here that you're going to fall out on the floor.
All right.
And so it could be a literal sense you on the floor because of laughter. And if you decide that you want to lay there because you're feeling dizzy, cool. But but literally it's about just having a good time. Like we set a vibe and we just talking. That's it. You know.
Right.
So we talked about your sign. What day in the year of the season of Capricorn? What day are you?
I am on the 12th. I was
Okay.
born on a Sunday at 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
in Alabama, Gibson Hospital.
Yes. If,
All right,
if
so-
people want to find you, they know how to find you.
They know how to find
your
me.
hospital records are definitely gonna.
Now, I don't think they were keeping accounts of niggas back there. Because I'm that old. You give birth and they just roll you out. They take your mama, they throw her out the door. Like, keep it moving, colored man. As a matter of fact, on my birth certificate, it says colored.
Oh no!
cap, it says colored.
It's not even African American.
Really, it's not even African American. I didn't come before that.
Wow.
Yeah, colored. My ethnicity on my birth certificate says colored. No cap. If you ever have me on the show, I'm gonna bring in and show y'all.
You're going to come
We're
back.
coming back.
You're going to come back.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a season 2. Shout out to season 2, y'all.
Here we go. Shout out.
Yeah, we putting it into work. We putting it out there, you know. So now we know that you're a Capricorn, right? But let's get to know
We're
the
not going to
basics.
hold that against you.
All right.
Again, executive team. I mean, we need to hire a more diverse Capricorn staff
You know what I mean?
Because it doesn't allow for that.
Shout out to the budget. All right, so you're a Capricorn.
Yes, sir.
What else does the world need to know about you?
Man,
Who are you?
you know what? That's a good question. And as of lately, I've been really thinking about who I am, what kind of mark I want to leave on the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to lead the rest of my life moving forward as a person who really is carefree. Not to the point where I don't care, but to the point where other people's opinion of me doesn't matter.
Less worry.
You know, that's why absolutely a lot less worry. So things can just roll off my back, whether it's relationship, finances, you name it. I just want to be that person that is not really moved unless it's something that needs to move me.
So, still chiming into the Capricorn vibe there, because I'm pretty sure if I say certain things, you're gonna probably catch on. So we're gonna use this little exercise here. So, have you ever had a situation where you feel like you're managing people's feelings in entrepreneurial world or 9 to 5? Do you feel like because we are very cutthroat at times, we're standoffish a lot of times, we're to ourselves, but we're always a goal oriented. But like, do you feel like in your journey of things, like you have to kind of like manage feelings just to kind of get through whatever the relationship calls for?
Absolutely. All my life, I've been that person that people just share it with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm easy to talk to because I think one of the things I pride myself in is trying to be a very good communicator.
Mm-hmm.
And communication is a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just being able to talk effectively,
Right.
but to also listen effectively.
Exactly.
And I believe that I listen very effectively, and because of that, and just by the nature of who I am, I give sage advice on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if my ex-wife would have listened to me, we would still been married.
Mm.
You know, so but she wouldn't listen.
That sounds like a very Capricorn thing. That sounds like a very
no,
Capricorn thing.
seriously. I do believe I give very sage, sound advice. I look at the world from a very high, broad, overarching perspective.
Right.
And I think because of that, I've learned a lot from it. So yes, I do find myself guiding people through their emotions, talking them off the branch or off the ledge, however you want to phrase it.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, hey, life goes on. There's nothing too terrible that you can go through that you can't come back from as long as you're still alive.
Yeah. Okay. So, I agree with all that for sure. So, what do you do currently? I've heard that you act, that you be insuring people. Like, let's talk about that for a second.
And what's the saying? Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's definitely us.
Yeah, that's
Heavy,
us.
heavy from all the hats you.
Everything.
Oh man, yes.
So currently, I am my 9 to 5. I am a claims specialist. So you get in an accident or your house is burning down. You call your insurance company, the cat that investigates and gives you your money towards the end. That's me.
Okay.
So claims specialist for a very large insurance company, and that's what I do 9 to 5. I'm currently in school taking my master's in psychology, business psychology. Shout out to that, Liberty University. A very affordable school. I'm not plugging them, but it's a very affordable school because I'm broke. But nevertheless, so I need affordability.
Yes.
Nevertheless, I'm in school for business psychology. It's actually called industrial organizational psychology. So I'm going for my master's in that.
Shout out to that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a moment on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good, like brother. Yes.
Yeah,
And
man.
we're gonna talk about education in
Absolutely.
the realm of African Americans, colored people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, at any point, do you feel that control? Capricorns have a big control issue, and so since I'm 35, January 1st, for those that don't know, January 1st. But also, I'm still learning. As Capricorn, there's different iterations of us. Like we start off
Yes.
one way when we're younger, get to the middle age segment where I feel like I'm start approaching or am in, and then when we get to what I call the OG-ness of Capricorn is where you just sound and like literally nothing can bother you, and that's why I'm trying that or Nirvana. I'm trying to achieve that. So, how do you manage control? The whole thing around like controlling elements around because I know that you have to have that battle with yourself.
Absolutely.
So how do you manage that?
I think it, with me personally, it comes from introspect.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of each day, or not each day, but as often as I can, I just sit down and I reflect inwardly. What can I have done better today?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do better tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
So I control what's around me by making sure that internally there's a state of homeostasis, there's a state of balance,
Right.
and spiritually, intellectually, physically. So those three combined helps me emote or just put out an energy out there that can kind of control the room. When I walk into a room, I feel like I'm in control of that room,
Mm-hmm.
simply because of who I know I am.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, introspection.
Absolutely.
Knowing exactly who I am, when I am, where I am, being able to have those vulnerable moments in front of the right people allows me to release certain pressures and just go back and reflect some more.
Okay.
You know, so and then I surround myself with people who have the same mindset.
Oh yes.
And that's very few.
That's very, very important.
Very few and far in between. Like my go-to person right now is my spiritual dad. Shout out to Elder Vaughn. He really counsels me in everything that I've been through, and it's been a short relationship, but the impact that he's had on my life, it helped me to stay grounded, even through some of the most trying times.
Okay. And we're definitely that was my next question regarding like dealing with stressful situations, dealing with events where are maybe less as ideal what we expected. So as an entrepreneur, right, an actor, let's talk about the good side and the bad side, because I feel like people that are aspiring to be an actor or people that are actors, currently actresses as well, they like to hear a perspective for someone that's in the field, and maybe they can learn something through osmosis or just visual aid or audio, whatever the case is, just hearing it, a different struggle, so they know how to pivot, how they can improve their life or whatever the case is, or deal with situations. So let's talk about the benefits, or what's the best part of acting. Like, I mean, I'm not in that realm, but like I'm pretty sure you're able to clock in because you get to be a different person. And so like, what is that like for you? Like being an actor, what's the great and the not so great things about acting?
Okay, very good question. For me, again, I strip myself down to the nakedness of it all, and I don't lie to myself about it.
Nice.
And if all of us who are artists were being true, we do it for the attention. And so when we get that attention, it feels great.
Yeah.
To be on stage, to have someone come up to you after a show and say, man, that was really good. You was really great. You were my favorite character. That really feels good.
Yeah.
I think every artist wants to be recognized. So that's the beautiful part of it. When you're on that stage and you're just doing what you love to do, it's a beautiful thing. But that's the good part of it. When you get the acknowledgement, the accolades, or the show, or the movie, whatever it is, when you get that phone call, it speaks to us. I think a lot of artists really deal with esteem issues, but when you're on that stage and you're on that movie camera, behind the movie camera, it speaks to our esteem, and it helps us become uplifted. So that's the beautiful part. If you're struggling with esteem and you get those accolades. Of course, eventually, I think you're gonna have to find something else that's gonna build your esteem.
Right.
But temporarily, it's a great feeling. The negative side of it is when you don't get that call, or when you feel like, yo, I could kill this role, and you just don't get it.
Right.
And there's moments. I think it's more moments like that than there are the great moments of getting that phone call. I think I kind of answered your question.
You did.
Okay.
In totality, you did. But we're gonna stay on that same tangent, y'all. We here with Sekou. Y'all make some noise for him. So my next question is, being of color in the realm of acting, have you experienced any type of setbacks or discrimination? Like, do you, and you don't have to be specific as far as the person or entity that did it, but like, just, you know, again, we're trying to inspire a generation that's coming after us. Is there particularly any type of setback that you want to acknowledge on camera and or audio that you would like to like put out there? Like, you know, I went through this, but this is how I rectified, I got through it. Like, being colored in the industry, like what is that like?
Being in the industry, what you're going to find as a person of color is that the material that's out there for us is limited. For me personally, because I've just started, I say just, so people say, oh no, you got some skin in the game. But for me, it's just because
That
it
would
came.
definitely would say you have skin in the game.
Yeah,
You have skin in the game.
I got skin in the game, but
skin.
literally, we're talking color. But numerically, I think I have 4 or 5 years in the game. So I started pretty late. I'm what you call a late bloomer in the field.
Well, we were talking about being African American
In the film industry.
in the film industry. Shout out to Black History Month.
Well, you said color. You said color.
Color, yeah. Being colored in the African American.
It's not buy one, get one free.
Yeah. There you go.
So being colored in African American. Shout out to Sneaky Links. Being colored in the acting industry. You were explaining the woes, the goods and the bads, and I think you were the last one we left off. It was on the downside, and like what can one do to kind of lift themselves up out of that whole, you know, when they get into the mindset where I feel defeated, or you know, I don't get that call back. Like, so you were talking about that.
Okay. And again, it depends on how far along you are into this journey. My journey started out with Greg Ellis, ex-cowboy. I interviewed or auditioned for one of his plays called Juneteenth.
Oh, wow.
And my very first paid gig was as a slave with a black production company.
Wow, how did that make you feel?
Originally, it made me feel great.
Wow,
Originally, but when I sat down and I began to think about it, I kept getting callbacks to play a slave.
Ouch.
And then after a while, I began to think about it. Is this something that I want to be typecast as?
Yes.
So I'm not saying that that's going to be everybody's experience, but it was mine in the beginning. If I don't get called back for the slave, I get called back for the abusive husband, one of the two.
Wow.
So I play those two roles very well, but I felt some kind of way about both of them because I really am. I like to think that I'm a really good guy. So I'm not an abusive husband. I'm just an excellent actor. So people leave out hating me.
Yes.
Which means I've done my job well. But as far as if we're talking more about the black and white, there was this one company that is predominantly white orchestrated. And so when they do shows or movies that has to do with African Americans or black, it's always along the vein of them playing a slave to a certain degree. And again, I found myself in the role, but I think it was a very pivotal role. It will be a pivotal role for me if this docuseries makes the waves that it should make. it'll really allow me to show my acting chops. So sometimes as an African American actor, you have to take those roles
Yes.
and do the best that you can so you can make a footprint. And from that footprint, you begin to carve your own lane.
Yeah, so it's like applying your personal experience, your life experience to that role.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, that's what acting is, like being able to really assimilate yourself into that role, so that way it feels authentic, it feels natural, it just flows, it makes sense to the viewers, people that are the industry, people that's in the industry. When they view that person, it just makes sense. Yes, I can see that. But being typecast, it's a real thing.
It really is a real
It's
thing.
Okay. And that really does suck, especially given the fact that you're in a role where you're playing something that's pretty traumatic for, like, with our history and everything. Like, it's pretty traumatic.
Right.
And then also too, random fact, about a month ago, about 3 weeks ago, I was in Virginia. The job sent me out there to train, and I on the weekend we can do whatever we want. Just Monday through Friday we're training, and so I took the opportunity to go to Washington D.C. from Richmond. I took a bus up to Washington D.C. and D.C. went to the African American Museum for the first time. I will try to go there before COVID happened, and then there's a line. You have to get tickets. It's a line. It's a whole situation. And so this time I got in, barely, but I got in. And I was able to go through the African American Museum and learn about our history. Like, they have multiple floors.
Mm-hmm.
So have you been?
I have not.
Okay, so you start off on the base floor, and it starts off like how we got here, right? Like, Christopher Columbus, that whole thing. We're not going to get into that, but like, there's a lot more history behind American history that we're not learning in school. And so I learned a lot of disturbing things. And one of the things that I learned was that you mentioned being in a slave role, having a slave role, that banks finance.
Right.
It was a business. Banks financed
Big
slavery.
Yeah.
And like, that was just like, I was taken back. It was $28 million, if I'm not mistaken. I'll verify that later.
Okay.
That the bank invested into having land for us to be on. And I'm just like, a bank financed that.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's no different from the penal system today.
Mm-hmm.
You have judges and attorneys and banks that build these institutions just to incarcerate black men. And I thank God that they were not recently, but a few years ago, a couple of those judges were exposed. But it just continues to shed light that no matter how great America becomes, we still have this underlying thread, this underlying theme of racism that we as African Americans always have to be cognizant of.
Right.
If you bury your head in the sand like an ostrich, of course you're never going to feel or experience that.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's quite a few of us who have buried our heads in the sand and say, the opportunities that are out there, you just have to go get them.
Right.
They're out there, but yet the deck is still stacked against us.
Absolutely. And I speak to that as a professional, in African American professional in the IT realm. But like, I feel like in any realm, you're always against it, right? And so it's important for us to not only recognize that, but it's like we have to be even better.
Right.
Like, we have to be able to be the ones that when they see us versus them on paper, we might look the same.
Right.
But because of our coloredness, we have to be exceptional in order to be seen.
Right.
And so that's very important. Now, for us to acknowledge that. Now,
let me interject really quickly.
Mhm.
I said
Go ahead.
something. It's not always racism, and I say that lovingly to
Mhm.
those of you who are out there who believe that racism is just running rampant. It's not always racism, but there's a form of it called biasness. So unconscious biasness is real amongst every culture.
Absolutely.
And that it's not always racism.
Right.
It's simply because it's the survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to gravitate what looks like you, what speaks like you, what
Right.
thinks like you.
Right.
So that's not always rooted in racism. It's just a natural inclination of humanity.
Right. Well said. I like that. That's really nice. So I have a question. You're an actor. You say you've been in the game, in the game 4 or 5 years. What is your favorite role that you've played?
Oh man,
And I have a follow-up question after you.
I
I'm
have
gonna
a,
leave the room.
I think a defining moment has yet to come
Mm-hmm.
because it's still in pre-production,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a film that I'm working on with somebody in the room other than you. That I had a moment that I believe is going to be my breakout moment.
Okay.
So that role as the father or the neighborhood, what's the word I'm looking for? The neighborhood governor, the mayor, the patriarch of the neighborhood. That's been my favorite role to date. And even though it's still in pre-production, that's going to be my favorite so far.
Okay.
There is another one that is filming and should pick up filming 2023, where I play the head of my organization as a black man.
Okay.
So that feels like it's gonna be
It's gonna be pretty
It's
dope.
gonna be different, and it's not your typical drug dealer. It's
Yeah.
almost like Italian mafia. You just have this black man in the lead role, and that's called White Rose.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So the follow-up question I had behind that, and on the same tangent, is: have you at any point, being an actor, found yourself applying that character to your everyday scenario, like your core personality, simulating that? Did you learning from that role, like say, I can do better because this person was this person,
Right.
and I think this person, he was flawed. I recognize his flaws,
Right.
but I feel like I can learn from this character.
That's a very good question, and I think unconsciously I may have. I have to really give that some thought because the character, the patriarch, he is very involved with the neighborhood, and I used to really be that dude before I moved out here to Texas. Very involved with like the Boys and Girls Club, Big Brother program, all that good stuff, involved with the neighborhood, and it just kind of reminded me of what I got away from. And yeah, I think as I move through churches and things like that, I'm a minister on top of all of this. But as I move through the church, that becomes my neighborhood. So I try to become like a mayor in whatever church that I'm involved in and guide people and lay counsel, break bread, fellowship, all that good stuff. So yeah, I kind of did.
Okay, all right. Well, that's interesting that you say that because I know other actors that take it to where they say, oh yeah, I've also learned from that character and then applied that to their current lifestyle and actually made them a better person.
Right.
Which I think, and I say that, like DJs and like people that are that take on a different persona to like cater to the people, like that's an artistry. Yeah. All of that is an artistry for me because it's like you're putting the person that's watching you or listening to you in a different mindset to take them away or to cater to an experience. Right. And so for me, it's an art form. And so when you do that, where do you like? It hasn't been one person or it's anyone that like watches as an audience member that came up to you like you inspire me or you've touched me with your role. Like they felt your role. Has anyone done that for you yet?
Yeah. And again, this isn't me not being humble. You asked the question, I'm answering. There's been several people that have come up to me and say, "Hey, man, you make me want to do better."
Right.
And,
okay. Nice.
There's some people that come up and say, "You did the role so well. I really wanted to hurt you, bro." I really wanted to hurt you. And so, yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. It goes back to that attention that we, as artists, we love to get. I think as artists, we are our own worst critic. Very critical on our work. It's never good enough. So those little moments of light that come in and they shed light on how great we can and are is really cool, really dope.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Can I interject something?
Yes.
So, in the project that you and I worked, that I am executive producer and one of the leads for, we had a scene that we filmed.
Yeah.
It was one of the scenes, a very pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Right? And I was not in that scene, but I was directing that
Right.
scene. And you did something that shook the room. And I was like, now literally that right there, that's what I'm fucking talking about, right there. You shook.
Yeah.
And I don't think you realized that in that moment, and what you were doing, because you was entranced in that moment.
Yeah.
So my question to you, in moments that are difficult as an actor, but taking that off, being an actor off, right?
Okay.
But being a person, a human, a father, a curator of love,
Yes.
how do you find inspiration to bring that sad person, the character from the page, to life?
Damn it, RJ, you stole my goddamn question. I was going to ask you, who inspires you? But okay, it was a very complicated way to get into it, but we got here. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's a myriad of. It's not for that particular scene. It was a very pivotal moment. It was almost like a death scene between the cops and an African American.
Ooh, that's
character.
gotta be.
So,
wow.
growing up and experiencing racism personally, and just seeing some things personally, you draw on that pain, that hurt that you've experienced, not just from the outside, but my own personal hurt. Sometimes, in order to bring that character out of me, sometimes I go back to some things that were very dark in my past.
Tap into that, yeah.
And I tap into that, and they're like, oh, that seems ugly to the layperson, but at the same time, we use that to evoke that character. Whatever passion or whatever you're trying to emote, like the loss of my brother is actually what I was thinking about during that scene.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my brother, Craig Calhoun, was gunned down in the Bronx, New York, several years ago. And the painful part of that is before he was gunned down, he and I had an argument. And we had stopped talking to each other.
Wow.
And I never had the opportunity to make amends for that. And so even now, it kind of chokes me up. But when you have something that traumatic that you can pull off of as an actor, go there. If you have to emote, go there. But make sure you have people around you that can bring you down.
Okay, bring you back.
Yeah, bring you back.
Definitely.
Because some people get stuck
Definitely.
in those.
Definitely. And as you know, when we filmed that particular scene, definitely, even though, the scene took a toll, and I wore that, at least for a few days after that, but even in the moment, everybody that we're going to say, everybody, because we understood what the assignment was, so we knew where it was taking each other. We checking on each other throughout the entire thing. I'm gonna go here. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah, I had to sit in my car after that and kind of bring myself back to reality.
Wow, like that's deep. Just thinking about like the various things that's been publicized about police brutality. Random fact. So I went to Minneapolis, where George Floyd was gunned down. And went to it's a square. Have you been to?
I have not.
All right, so I literally, when you if you go to Google and look up George Floyd Memorial, there's a memorial that the people in the community built. It wasn't a situation where the government built a statue.
Right.
The community came together and they made George Floyd Plaza. Right. And so when you go down there, I parked. I remember parking, and I don't think I was mentally prepared to go down there because I was just like, I'm gonna go down there. I want to see like where this happened, when it all happened. But the moment I opened the car door, this energy I can't even describe it, even to this day. It's this energy I just felt like I was in a different plane. and it was like, wow. And they had an outline of where it all happened, right outside the store, and there's nothing but flowers, and just people that said, you know, I walked to each of the stores, the shops, and the guy across the street, he kept it real buck with me, and he was like, I saw when it happened.
Wow.
And the people in the community were pissed.
Right.
And they started looting the stores in the area. And it wasn't, and he was like, I want you guys to be angry, but remember, we're small businesses as well.
Right.
Like, we're angry with you, but like, you know, don't set us back too.
Right.
You know? And so that all that energy, I felt overwhelmed in that scenario because I felt like there's people that are like, oh, they see it on the news, and which I'm one of them. I saw it. I wasn't there when it happened, but when I got there, I said, I can see, I sense the energy, the police. I feel like I felt their energy, and I felt the energy of the spectators. And if it wasn't for the young lady that recorded the whole thing, the world would have never known about how that went down. The brutality, the knee on the neck, and all that stuff. No one would ever know. I met his sister. She's out there every day talking about how important it is to being black and communicating and just, you know, standing up for yourself. You know, and she got very emotional when we did that. Because it was like just yesterday for her and her family. How, you know, just being there. They go to Capitol Hill and they fight, and like it's like a big thing for them. And so with all that being said, like, you know, being colored, I don't think it is another thing I learned at the Washington Museum, the African American Museum, was we would consider contraband of war. And it is so amazing because like every culture adopts from us.
Yes.
Every race adopts from us. And like we are trendsetters.
Yes.
But yeah, we're discriminated so much.
Right.
So
Everybody want to be like us.
but don't want to live in our skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just real shit. So, so with that being said, let's make it light and fluffy. So what are you working on? Okay, let's start with that. What are we working? Can we talk about that?
Absolutely. We're gonna talk about it. Well, of course, as I just mentioned, we have the Brothers game that's still in pre-production. That's gonna be great. It's really gonna be great. We're in here with one of the producers, and he's just a great, awesome guy. I love him to death. I worked with him on one of the sets that I was kind of alluding to earlier about being a really whitewashed production company. But they give us a lot of opportunities. They do give us a lot of opportunities. I ain't got even front.
I didn't even make no laugh.
But they give us a lot of opportunities, so shout out to them. No shade whatsoever. But again, you know, I'm going to give another sidebar. I like to tell people, you can't be mad at someone who is in power that wants to keep their power.
Absolutely.
And they're going to keep their power any way that they see fit. It's our objective to gain power.
Absolutely.
So, and because when we get into power, we're going to try to do everything we can to keep it.
Maintaining. We're all kings and queens.
We absolutely are. We absolutely are. But yeah, I'm working on the Brothers game.
Okay.
I'm working on another movie called First Love. Demondre Christie is the director of that one. Let's see, what else do I have going on? I have a couple of plays that are coming down the pike. We have Why Did I Marry My Ex-Wife? I play one of the lead roles in that. My ex-husband, rather. Yeah. Shout out to the Elder Groves for writing and directing that one. Let's see, what else? Oh man, there's another one. I believe it's called Decisions. Don't quote me on that. But I just landed a role with that, and it's really in pre-production. I landed the role as a chef. I play this professor, the chef extraordinaire that takes a couple of students under his wing and really mentor them in the game of cooking and life.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. There is another movie that I was invited to do. But man, it's a lot of projects that I go on. And I'm thinking like, man, I really got some work. I got some things coming up in 2023.
That's what's up, man.
But outside of that, man, my real love, acting is number 2. My real love is music and poetry and things of that nature. I want to play everything, man. I want to play the drums. I want to play the organ, the sax, the guitar. And I just want to write, man. I want to get in the room with someone and just show my writing skills too.
Okay. Well, so for them to see that, how can they follow you? How can they experience that?
I'm old school, so I'm still on Facebook. You can follow me
That's
on.
not considered.
That's new school.
That's new. Now, if you say MySpace, then I'm like, so we're gonna just edit that one out. But
There's some young cats that be like, Facebook. That's for old people.
okay, how young we talking? Like 13?
Yeah, probably. Millennials. Some millennials too. But I'm on Facebook at Sekou Calhoun, and I'm also on IG at Sekou Jabez 1. That's my Instagram handles. I think I have a Twitter account, but I rarely use it. I rarely use it.
Well, we not gonna put it out there if you're not doing nothing with it.
Yeah, you're right. I retract that statement. Yeah, you can email me at sekoujabez@gmail.com.
There you go.
Call me
For bookings.
for booking. You can call me directly. Just don't be trying to hit on me. Whoever you are. You can
I'm
call
pretty
me.
sure after they see this, there's gonna be a few people that's gonna try to hit on because you put your information out.
Oh,
there.
yeah, I know.
I didn't know.